Hey everybody, HK Sniper here. So I did put in the community tab that, hey, sorry it's been a while since I made a video, at least reenacting related video, and I wanted to dive into that real quick and just kind of go over that and just to let you guys all know what's going on. So in middle of July of last year, I got COVID. It lasted about 2 weeks. To me, it was like a really nasty flu. That was just my experience. I'm not saying it's a flu, just that was my experience. It was like a very nasty flu that just would not go away for 2 weeks. Usually I kick a flu in about a week. This just hung on. Then we had the Canadian wildfire stuff, the smoke come over here, and it sucked. So I did get better in time for D-Day. Went to D-Day, felt relatively okay through D-Day. Had a great time, as I mentioned in my video. And I want to say in September, about that's when things kind of took a turn. Ended up pretty much what we're just going to call right now as long COVID. And I didn't do any events through the winter just because I just couldn't. I just physically could not. I had an intolerance to exercise, among a bunch of other different symptoms. We'll leave it at that. Things are improving. I have days, a lot of days now where I'm about 75% my normal self. It does dip down in little flare ups to about 50%, I would say, but things have been steadily improving. The good days are becoming more and more and more. And we'll leave it at that. So, hoping by once summer kicks in more and there's more events coming up, which I am going to D-Day this year. There's a few other events. We'll go into them all as those dates get closer. And hopefully things will be shifting back to normal this summer. I don't want to go through that crap again, but it is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to put a link in the description to the video that I'm responding to. I was going to make this as a comment to his video, but I thought that it was such a great topic that I could discuss it myself and just kind of make it some content for myself and kind of reiterate some things and agree with some stuff and just kind of go over it on my own here on my own channel. It's in regards to Brandon F's video about the flawed systems in reenacting, and he makes a lot of excellent points throughout the video. I could probably spend 15 minutes just saying, yeah, I agree, yeah, I agree, yeah, I agree. That's a good point. Yep, yep, 100%. Uh, a lot of excellent points in that video. One of the things I wanted to discuss was the behavior of soldiers in reenacting in regards to their guaranteed safety, and I thought that was an excellent point and something that I guess we as reenactors all know about, but never really thought about it in the way that it was brought up in that video. Yeah, 100%, Brandon. I agree. The behavior of reenactors in reference to their guaranteed safety is definitely a catalyst to how they behave in battles. And it is why also we see the ridiculousness of our hobby, Brandon. And I know you've seen it. The last stands, the suicide charges, the completely wild and grossly exaggerated acts of heroism, charging up a beach with pearl revolvers and all sorts of ridiculousness we've all seen, because at the end of the day we're either going back to camp to hang out with our friends who magically got up at the end of the battle, or we're going back to our air conditioned vehicles and enjoying a nice drive home at the end of the day. Fully agree with that. Excellent points. And something I wanted to kind of say, yeah, I am completely guilty of doing the same stuff. I'm completely guilty in the past of doing what I would consider cringe behavior now. I've tried to improve upon that. And like you mentioned, I'm not trying to compare my experiences, but I am trying to improve how I behave. Obviously, I'm not getting shot at a reenactment. I'm not getting mortared. I'm not getting hit with artillery. I don't have to worry about a P-51 coming down and strafing the crap out of our formation. Not worrying about a tank actually blasting me with an HE round, stuff like that. So yeah, even trying, I will never achieve the true experience. And that's just the hobby. That's just how it is. That's how it's going to be, no matter what. And there's ways we can help guide the people that we're obviously teaching in this hobby as historical reenactors, the public, as we always call them. And we do have to be careful what we say and what we do. The point that you made about falling into a trap of comparison was excellent, Brandon. And I definitely want to jump on that one. Uh, I try not to compare because I think that comparing my experiences as a hobbyist and trying to somehow make it one and the same with someone that experienced actual warfare is doing a disservice to them. What I like to tell the public, we'll do a scenario here. One of the most common scenarios that a reenactor experiences. No, it's not. Is that fire real? But it's close. Aren't you hot in that uniform? That wool uniform, man, you must be burning up. It's 95 degrees. It's 90% humidity. Holy crap. One of the most common comments and questions you will get as a reenactor. And it's easy to fall into the trap of saying, yeah, just imagine how the guys felt. I'm burning up in this. It's a great appetizer to history. As you mentioned, a window to encourage further research. What I really like to do is say, yeah, I get to go to my air-conditioned vehicle at the end of the day. I get to go back to camp. I get to chill with all my buddies afterwards. Imagine doing this 365 days a year in actual combat in all conditions. In fact, if you want to read about that experience, here is so and so, their first-hand account. Use these opportunities as an appetizer to history to really guide someone into doing research themselves. And it does allow the public to get a glimpse of how things might have been. I'm not going to disagree with that. It does allow a glimpse. But us as hobbyists should never try to compare or feel that we stand alongside that experience, toe to toe. So, relating to experiences, with the public, that's just how I feel. You brought up airsoft, and airsoft is an interesting topic for me. I spent a lot more time in airsoft than reenacting. I started airsoft in 2000, and I played until 2014ish. Reenacting was taking my money, so I kind of ditched airsoft. Went to pretty much just reenacting straight up, and then I did eventually get back into airsoft last year. Completely different beast of a hobby. I could make a whole different video about it, but the guaranteed safety and unrealistic behavior, even when there is an element of pain in airsoft. I'm not saying it's like it hurts a lot. It's not like getting shot by any means, but there is an element of pain. So there is a slight reaction, different reaction than what maybe a reenactor would behave, even because you're trying to actually avoid a projectile, but it's not a bullet. You're not going to need a tourniquet after getting hit with an airsoft gun. At least you shouldn't. And there's definitely a unrealistic behavior. I do a lot of the indoor CQB stuff right now just because they're around and they're cheap and easy to get into just for a pickup game. I see people doing some dumb stuff, and there's stuff that they're doing that if this was all real CQB combat, they just it would never happen. So yeah, as an airsoft player, I see it myself. Even with a slightly more edged amount of danger involved and pain. So it does happen. So, talking about research and stuff, This might seem abrasive, but I'm going to be very brief on this. Research now compared to way back is a lot different. And one of the big butting heads I see between reenactors is the generations of reenactors. And that there's a lot of older reenactors, and I'm not trashing everybody. There's a lot of older reenactors that are very open minded to new information, but there are just as many older reenactors that are closed minded. And even though now we have the internet and so much more information and first hand accounts and very easy access to photographs and etc., manuals, all that stuff, there's still that element in reenacting that says this is how we've always done it, this is how it's always been, nothing you tell me is going to change my mind. And it does make a hurdle because those people are telling the public uh, pretty much misinformation. So to do our best to correct it without stepping on any toes is a great thing. Obviously, don't create any drama. Don't be completely trashing someone right in front of them. If you want to talk to the public, do so politely and on your own time, that type of stuff. Obviously, there's going to be different opinions and different outlooks to stuff, period. So just handle it appropriately, is how I would say. I fully agree with trust but verify, and that is an excellent, excellent point. And I have a story involving something like that. When I went to church years ago, right after high school, the pastor I uh, saw at that church would read, and in his sermons, he like I said, he'd read through, and he would always tell you, this is the page, this is the verse, this and this and that. Read through it yourself. Go through it yourself, and see how you interpret it. And that's an excellent, excellent, excellent view. I think in this hobby period is to do that with people. Tell them, hey, this is what I know. This is the experiences and information that I have for you. However, here's where you can read it. Here's where you can get a first-hand account, etc. So I fully agree with that. It's a lot easier now than it was in the past. We're going back to that topic with the internet and everything. It's so much. You could tell someone a memoir, and they all got to do is pop on Amazon, and they got it at their house in 2 days to read through. So I encourage that. Tell people, hey, look into this. Don't just take my word for it. Read into it and give them the avenue, the road to find those resources and to go through that. So I'm going to round this video out. We're hitting 13 minutes already. I'm rambling enough. Anyway, one thing I wanted to bring up, Brandon brought up about us teaching the public, and Brandon, I gotta disagree with you a little bit. There's reenactors. Have you ever heard of reactors? Reactors is a term a friend of mine that I knew came up with years ago. They told me about how they called certain people in the public reactors. Reactors are members of the public that will try to teach you. They're going to know everything ahead of time, and they're going to do everything they can to try to teach you. Again, what information he gave for people and their interaction with reenactors, you should do the same thing. Trust but verify, blah, blah, blah. Don't argue with them. It never, ever goes the right way. Because no matter what, when it comes to the public, they're always right and you're always wrong. At least when it comes to that specific type of the reactors, I should say. They're always going to be right, and nothing you say will change their mind. So it makes you wonder why they're even there. If they know everything, why are you here? Probably just to flex their muscle when it comes to knowing history. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Again, I'm going to have a link to his video there. I hope you enjoyed this content. I know it's nothing super crazy or super great, but I had to make something. So we'll leave it at that. Again, more stuff coming up here in the near future. I will discuss those in future videos. Be safe out there. Have a good one, everybody.